I think that often kids our age don't really have enough to do, and they end up, on a Saturday night, end up drinking in a park and whatnot.
There are so many people around that need help and just don't ask for it, don't know where to ask for it.
The bottom line is that adolescence is really hard, and Point Zero talks about sexuality and drinking and body image, and those things are really important to teenagers.
They deal with exposure to alcohol and peer pressure associated with that, or coolness to be able to, hey, we're all drinking, I'm going to get in, and some actually end up drinking every Saturday night and binge drink very seriously.
Point Zero is a unique service because we go directly to the young people and we deal with issues that young people face every single day.
Primarily as it started, went out with a van to where the kids hang out, and from there we've sort of grown to other areas where young people might be affected. So whether it's at a house party, whether it's going into the schools and working with them there, or in community groups, our fashion design competition. So we really have developed a whole program where we look at where young people are at and then work with them at their level.
So we really go into their space where they feel comfortable and we empower them to make decisions.
The most relevant thing, and I think that it hasn't changed, is drinking. It can get pretty serious, and I think that Point Zero really works to combat that.
The kids that we see are about 12 to 18 years of age.
Drunk to the point where they're about to be sick, drug use, eating disorders, family issues, violence.
Sexual issues at parties, after drinking and all that. Absolutely relevant, which is something people should bring up with girls in my age group.
My son went through a bit of an experimental phase with drugs. He was at a party, one of the big outdoor parties in the park. No adult supervision, and the kids were all drinking and taking drugs, and my son actually passed out and had to be taken to hospital. And basically, if it hadn't been for the Point Zero team, no one knows what would have happened if they hadn't been around.
Point Zero's programs are effective because we take a harm minimisation approach in every program that we run. We have 3 street outreach vans that work in Sydney's eastern suburbs, the lower North Shore, and we've just started in the inner west.
Point Zero's been running education seminars at my school for a few years. They were really up to date with everything. I didn't think that they would know as much as they did about the current ways of drinking and drug taking, but they really knew everything that they should know, and it was great.
Point Zero also takes a holistic approach, so we don't believe in just working with the young people themselves. We believe that anyone who has a vested interest in young people needs to be educated.
We have to work with the general community because it's really they're a part of the community. So therefore, the adults, council, police, everybody really needs to understand where young people are at.
There are a number of ways the community can get involved. You can become a volunteer on one of our vans. You can also work for us casually if you're trained in welfare or psychology or education.
We're taking ground. The idea of Point Zero is to take as much ground as possible against alcohol, drugs, and whatever we can do in our own little humble way. If we can make some sort of difference to the community, then I think it's well worth donating to, and we haven't even scratched the surface, nowhere near it.
I can't tell you how grateful I am as a parent that the Point Zero team are there to look after my son, and it is something that we've got to support and got to help them grow.
As a parent, one of the things I've become acutely conscious of is that I just don't have all the answers. And there was such a valuable moment for me when I attended a Point Zero parent education workshop, and coming from that was, I think, perhaps for the first time I was able to really communicate with my daughter. And so I would encourage all parents to give what time they can and perhaps even financial support to what is an incredibly important program.
I think people like to think that teenagers often aren't as informed as they can be. I mean, they do know what's going on, but it's also important to kind of have that help and also constantly being made aware of issues. I mean, if something was to get out of hand, I don't think most people would have any idea of what to do. And so it's good to know that there's someone around knowing that kind of thing. They're providing the support, and you know, if one night maybe things did get out of hand, they're going to be there to help.
On the whole, the young people's response to us is amazing. They just can't believe that there's people within the community that are actually responding to their needs and looking out for them and meeting them where they're at.